Okay, here we go. Big time players, big names, one big group stage battle. Hopefully we'll have some suitably epic music playing. I'm experimenting again. I've taken out the Starcraft game music and I'm adding my own to see what that'll be like. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you prefer the classics. Happy to revert. It's a low ground pylon followed by a scout, possibly for a hatch block. Reynor does not appear to have gone pool first. We see that a lot on Beckett Industries. It's a tougher map for Zerg. A lot of players have a real love-hate relationship with Beckett Industries. But it's brought us some pretty decent games. There's the hatch block. Reynor doesn't have his 300 yet. He's gonna divert. He's gonna go for the low ground triangular third. You usually see the other option. But I'm gonna take a flyer and assume that the world champion knows what he's doing. Gateway down for MaxPax. The probe picks up Reynor's choice, and then MaxPax will grab his first assimilator and check on the Zerg. Inside the Zerg main, we see the beginning of the extractor pool. The pool is a little bit delayed. He doesn't have the minerals yet. We're seeing the early extractor more and more now. But let's give it up for our Zerg player in the bottom left. He's the reigning world champion because he's Reynor!
Current world rank 4.
It's Nexus before Core, which in this matchup is kind of like I before E, except after C. Whatever that means exactly. I think I'm trying to say it's very common. But there's nothing common about our Protoss player. His packs are at 100% capacity because he's MaxPax!
Current world rank 15.
MaxPax is from Denmark. He's only 17 years old. And I still don't have a proper photo for the guy. So apologies for the placeholder. Yes, I know he deserves better. There's the glorious hatch pop. The pool completes right after it's 4 lings and just 1 queen with an earlier ling speed. Okay, there's our second queen. Reynor's playing around with his build order just ever so slightly, prioritizing that ling speed over the second queen. Meanwhile, MaxPax's core finishes up. He gets that adept no chrono boost. And then he starts up his Stargate, getting that even earlier than his warp gate research, which just follows now. Reynor's lings are immediately pushing out here. With that short rush distance, could he actually arrive before the door guard gets here? I think he will. I think he's gonna get a free walk inside. Oh, the adept is just a microsecond too late. MaxPax got caught chrono boosting his probes instead of his adept. That's gonna let Reynor see his tech choice without sacking an overlord. Sure, he loses his lings, but it saves him 50 minerals. And he ensures the adept stays at home even longer. A smart, savvy opening by the world champ. MaxPax is getting his second adept. Reynor's putting down his third base. And now the adept hustles over for a little revenge scouting. Look at her walk, she's clearly all huffy. But Reynor's got a creep tumor up. He's gonna be able to guard that choke point. The adept is gonna force her way past, but she's gonna take a lot of hits. And there's lings positioned at the top of the ramp. Danger, Will Robinson. But MaxPax has the shade away to save her life. And another ling snuck inside. He's gonna get the confirmation. He's gonna see it's a void ray out of that Stargate first, followed by an oracle. Oh, and the void ray has to do a pullback to deal with the ling. And Reynor just drags it out, running his Zergling all over the main. Meanwhile, he's made more lings for a potential door challenge here. MaxPax canceled that pylon thinking the lings were gone. He has to remake it. Reynor's definitely losing lings here, but he is getting value. MaxPax has to cancel that pylon again so he can set it in the place he actually wants it. Oh, you can just feel MaxPax's temperature rising. But he's enough of a veteran that he'll focus on what he needs to do, and that includes getting his third down. The Zerg is actually outmining the Protoss ever so slightly. MaxPax needs to catch up. That's your opening warp gate ceremony, and note that MaxPax is going for +1 air attack. And a second Stargate. 2 queens are ready for that Oracle dive. They're gonna deter it. No drone kills. The Oracle's gonna drop a revelation instead. Reynor is not quitting with those lings. He is being such a pest. He's not getting any tech. He's just doing it all with Zerglings. I actually thought he was gonna get in there again for a second. But MaxPax has the security force there. But the advantage for Zerg though is it's really keeping that Void Ray at home. Reynor has not lost a single Overlord, and that is not normal. Queen's coming up to advance the creep. No, they're going off creep. This is an early queen walk, people. He's committing 5 of them, but he's only got lings. Oh, he got busted by the Oracle. Oh, but he's not turning around. He's doing it anyway. He's getting a lair in triple spores. MaxPax is adding Void Rays. He's gonna need them. But how does this work for Reynor? He's just got lings. Well, he's showing me he gets a cancel on a shield battery. He's gonna force a second one, but MaxPax will drive him off and save the third one. Now the queens are here. 5 queens on 2 Void Rays. Protoss can't do this without shield batteries. And he's lost 2 of them. Oh my god, Reynor could get that Nexus with just queens and lings. +1 air attack is not yet done. MaxPax is remaking his shield batteries in his natural. He fires off a battery overcharge, so that should keep his Void Rays safe. But he's stuck out of position, he can't save his third. It's a laser light show. That is brilliant by the Zerg player. MaxPax is supply blocked, his economy takes a beating. He's building shield batteries in a place he didn't really want them. And now Reynor's gonna claim victory and leave. The Void Rays wanna harass the queens, but they can't leave the shield batteries. And he won't have enough guarding his door if the links come back, which they are. The queens are totally gonna get a free walk back home, which they know, and they're gonna take their sweet time. Oh, watch this. Queens off creep versus queens on creep in an acceleration zone. That's a difference. It's like they suddenly drink Red Bull. 75 milligrams of caffeine there, my queens. You gotta be careful with that stuff. You don't wanna wind up stim packing every day like those Marines. MaxPax is doubling down on those Void Rays. He's getting his count up to 7 and he's rebuilding his third. Reynor's added in a Hydra Den. He's getting a Hydra speed. This really interests me. We don't see Zerg try Hydras against Void Rays very much anymore. Once considered a standard strat, it hasn't been very successful. But Reynor's positioned himself for a big-time mining lead. He could be in a position to make this work. Oracle tag on the main does not catch the Hydra Den. Oh, but the Lings do catch the Adepts. The sight blockers with the difference maker. The Adepts did not see the Lings until it was too late. That is a nice pickup for the Zerg. Oh, MaxPax going for a double robo. And he's adding the robotics bay. I'm kind of hoping that's for disruptors, because his disruptor play is getting off the hook. Oh, queens are back already. They get the Oracle. MaxPax sneaking along the right side with his Void Rays. That's a risk. Reynor's got an attack brewing here, and MaxPax's defense has left the station. I guess you could say that Reynor doesn't have any defense either then. MaxPax trying to add those shield batteries. And a fleet beacon, actually. Bad timing. Oh, Reynor hustled his queens back home. MaxPax is going to recall for the defense. Clutch force fields to hold off the banelings. The shield batteries did not finish, though, and those Void Rays are once again battling naked. Oh, they dip over their wardrobe with the natural and fuel up. But that means Zerg can get out of the choke. Reynor has the space to set up that deadly concave. Zerglings surround the Nexus at the third, and the queens are back now. Huge army lead for the Zerg. Reynor's almost got him doubled. Nexus falls. Battery overcharge goes off for those Void Rays. The natural is going to be a much easier location for him to hold, but Protoss is hurting for minerals now. Reynor is pulling in way more money, forcing the Protoss to be ultra efficient. But look who just arrived. Double disruptors. And speaking of things that come in two, MaxPax is actually making a pair of Tempests. But he could really use them to get here now, because those queens are moving in. And the Protoss wall is open, so the Zerglings get right in there. So do the Banelings! There's only one pylon left for that wall. Reynor sees it and hits it with a Baneling. Great recognition. The core and 2 gates become unpowered. MaxPax's supply blocked. But his purification novas have just been awesome. It's the only thing keeping him in this right now. The Tempests are great, but when the queens are already on top of you, I don't know if they're adding that much. They do make it harder for the queens to transfuse. Oh, big bomb there! Oh, MaxPax was so fun to watch, but I feel like he's getting ground down. Reynor's getting his 4th up while MaxPax is mining out in his main. Oh, but the queens can't take too much more of this punishment. Oh, he's got to get those novas on the Hydras. Oh, he was so close to getting multiple queen hits there. But I guess the idea is if the disruptors can weaken the queens, the Void Rays can finish the job. So MaxPax is going to hold, but at what cost? Reynor's got his creep at his doorstep, and Zerg is outmining Protoss by 2-1. MaxPax has survived the onslaught, but how can he get back in this? Well, he's going to try. He's going to remake that third. He's got a really nice investment in tech with that fleet beacon and that robo bay. And technically for now, he's ahead on upgrades. But this is an economic game and he is a banana republic at this point. Infestation pit finishes and Reynor goes for hive tech. MaxPax will proudly finish remaking his cyber core. He's not putting it in his wall this time. A lone Tempest is gonna try to do some harass. There is that big airspace between the main and the third. If he can outrange the Hydras and the Queens, he could make himself a real pain in the butt. Reynor's picking up the Groove Spine upgrade for his Hydras though. That gives him the Hydra range. It's only +1, but it actually makes a huge difference. Oh, as the Tempest flies over, it's like, this is the future location of Reynor's 5th base. So that's the sweet spot, if he can tuck himself in that back corner. That is not the back corner though, that is like the opposite of the back corner. A Queen and a Spore are gonna respond to this. That's it, MaxPax pulls back, he's gotta use that range. Oh, that's not enough, the Hydras and the Queens can reach him. Oh, this is an unfortunate micro. I think MaxPax's attention was elsewhere. Possibly on the impending doom surrounding his 3rd base. Oh, those Lings are gonna get up on those disruptors. No, they pull back. That could have been so much worse for the Protoss. Oh, Reynor's making 6 Vipers. This is gonna be awesome. Maybe not if you're Protoss for life. MaxPax is looking to transition into carriers. He's also just now getting himself a Twilight Council. You can tell the dude's been busy. Reynor's got +1 range attack for his Hydras now. And his 5th base is underway. MaxPax is super saturated his 3rd base. He's drinking those minerals up through a straw. This is what he needed. Oh, look at this. It's gonna be a Spore Forest right outside the Protoss base. I mean, why not? Reynor's got creep almost over the entire map. Disruptors looking to take shots at those Hydras. Even if they miss, they force the Horde back. Reynor's gonna max out. After that happens, any further breathers is gonna be in Protoss's favor. MaxPax has a semblance of an economy again. He just needs time to wield it. The carriers are out. MaxPax is about to get himself a battle duck. Oh, and look at this. Quadruple evolution chambers on the Protoss side of the map. I'm assuming that's Viper food. This is some serious advanced planning by Reynor. It's a cheap way to set up for his consume ability. 6 Vipers. I think we're looking at a Duck City here. Well, we were until MaxPax nailed every feedback possible. Oh, that could not have gone better for the Protoss. He doesn't have enough shield batteries, but the one he's got has been overcharged. And there's the sweet suite of ducks. There's too many Vipers to feedback them all. Reynor does some damage, but MaxPax is holding. Oh, look who's being disgusting and harvesting his own structures. Wow, that did quite a bit of damage when you have 6 vampires going at it at a time. I think that Evo chamber went down to half. MaxPax really using that choke to his advantage. I was just thinking if MaxPax had Storm, he could really make those Hydras suffer. And of course, that's exactly what he's researching right now. Reynor thinking about going the long way, but changes his mind. He's actually getting a Spire. MaxPax adding 3 more gates. Feedback on the Viper. We're starting to see some of that Protoss efficiency. But he did lose an Archon and a Disruptor. Reynor is just bottlenecked in there. Acceleration zones increase unit movement speed. It doesn't help their attack any. It's gonna become a kill zone. Storm is about to finish. Oh, but Reynor with the Lings sliding in through the natural. That is exactly what he needed. That is too many. The damage is gonna be significant. MaxPax feeling the pain of never having actually re-walled. Oh, he's pulling back his air units to deal with it, at least half of them. That's gonna give the Hydra's license to get past that bridge. Zerg going for abducts on the Tempest. There's the Storm. A great hit, but the Hydras are inside now. They are taking their shoes off and thumbing through MaxPax's collection of magazines. They have definitely made themselves at home. The Void Rays are trying to dissuade them. But that is the Hydra concave that Reynor was waiting for. There's not enough Void Rays and there's no shield batteries left for them. That's GG. A really cool game one. Don't forget that Reynor dropped MaxPax's 3rd using a Queen Rush backed only by Zerg. Well, that was pretty cool. Reynor showing us how Zerg can win against Protoss Air. Reynor showing us how Zerg can win on Beckett Industries. 2 strikes against him right from the gate, and he's putting on a clinic. And Reynor's not laying a beat down on some lesser player here. MaxPax is a bona fide pro at this point. I refer you to that recent game of MaxPax I cast, where he serves a beatdown on Clem. What really appealed to me about this game, though, is that it illustrates how tiny moments in the early game can snowball and reverberate forward for huge impacts later in the game. Humor me for a second here. Remember how in the early moments of this game during setup, MaxPax decides not to chrono boost his first adept? Fair choice. He wants the economic advantage of chrono boosting his probes instead. Reynor seizes that opportunity, combines it with the short rest distance on the map, and gets 2 lings inside MaxPax's main. Seriously, not a big deal, easily dealt with. Imagine though for a second an alternate future where MaxPax does chrono boost and the lings don't get inside. Reynor doesn't see the Stargate. He doesn't know what MaxPax build is. Zerg's a reactionary race, he has to know. So now he's got to get an Overlord inside. He has to position 1, probably 2, just to get in. Or he's got to research Overlord speed, or get an earlier layer to morph an Overseer, something. In the meantime, the Void Ray pops out. Imagine this time it kills a couple Overlords positioned around the Protoss main. That usually happens. Suddenly, Reynor has less money in the early game. Just a bit, but he's down. That means either the Queen walk he has planned has 1 less Queen, or 8 less Zerglings. Reynor's first push is weaker. Or, more likely, it has the same strength, but it comes a little later, after he gets that missing Queen. But if it's later, MaxPax's triple batteries that he has planned around his 3rd Nexus are finished by the time the attack comes. Maybe MaxPax even has enough energy to reinforce them with a battery overcharge from his Nexus. This time, in our alternate future, MaxPax holds the attack on his 3rd. Now, instead of being down economically, MaxPax is on even pace. Not only that, he's already building a tech lead. Where does the game go from there? It might even be advantage MaxPax. Remember, Reynor's playing on a tough Zerg map after all. And maybe the game keeps snowballing against him from there. Sometimes, frankly, it gives me the chills. It's like the infamous butterfly effect. But regardless of what alternate history we attempt to explore, in a best of 3, all roads lead to a game 2. So why don't we go there now? Adjutant, if you would please.
The game begins now.
Okay, now that I'm done playing Uta the Watcher, we can get back into game 2 here. Oh, I think that was an early probe darting off there. Could be a proxy, could just be a really determined hatch block time. This guy's getting out even before that first pylon. He's dumping pylon duty on his buddy behind him. We will of course be witnessing this interesting spectacle on the map Blackburn. Hold the phone, Reynor is also leaving early. Could this be like some kind of competing proxies? Well, there's a second drone for Reynor who's coming at the regular time to put down a hatch. He's gonna get blocked though. So that's what MaxPax was up to. He just knows the timings better than I do. But that doesn't tell us what Reynor's drone is up to. He's hiding in the top right. Gateway and assimilator down for Protoss. Reynor's gonna take the gold. He doesn't divert to either of his 3rd bases. He throws down the gauntlet. This is officially interesting, more than interesting. MaxPax didn't scout that. He may well suspect it, but he hasn't seen it. Proxy drone on the move, or is this just some kind of different scouting technique? Drone's gonna slip in well before the wall can be made. Reynor's got 300 minerals. He could proxy hatch. Oh yeah, or he tried anyway. Was that a fake or was it real? Because it's totally gonna divert attention from his gold expansion. MaxPax might now think he knows why he hasn't seen an expansion from the Zerg, because he's trying to put it down in his base. But the real reason is that Reynor took the gold. Core goes down for Protoss. MaxPax starts his Zealot. He's nervous. Yeah, he's doing that without seeing the gold. Extractor pool for Zerg. I've totally missed my shot to do intros here. There's just too much going on. This is an intense early game. I can't wait to see how this plays out. MaxPax checks his own gold. He's worried Reynor's gone there. Throws down his delayed natural. He's got a real shot at killing that drone. Reynor's got 300 minerals still. Is he still gonna proxy, or maybe he just dumps it into making queens? The Zealot is out. And MaxPax sees the gold complete. His heart's gotta sink. He totally missed that. He's got a Zealot to deal with it, but by the time the slow lot gets over there, there could be a Queen. He's not going to be able to rip that down with just a Zealot. The core does finish though, so MaxPax can start an Adept. He doesn't have the money for a tech choice though. That drone is just living dangerously. So Reynor went 2 Queens 4 Lings. I thought he was going to proxy for a second there, but he faked me out. Zealot is headed to that gold, but there's already Lings out on the map. I normally always say you see a gold proxy, you got to do something about it. But I think it's going to turn out this is a too little too late situation. Reynor's already got that thing saturated and the Queen's going to pop. This was almost like a baited trap. I feel for the Protoss. You can't let the Zerg drone up on a gold like this. But look what happens when you try to do something about it. There was a proxy in the middle of nowhere in the main. Reynor is a madman today. And MaxPax lost the Zealot and he needed to deal with that. Oh, could this be a quick game? Reynor's sending Lings over now. He's got 2 in the main already. MaxPax needs to get a wall. But he spent his money on getting that Stargate. And he's worried about the proxy in his main. Oh man, I'd be stressed out of my mind. Reynor is just taking the boots here. MaxPax with the wall. But there's nothing there yet to actually defend it. He's gonna add a shield battery to give himself some time. The Adept can kill those Lings, but can't she kill them fast enough? There's so many. 2 Adepts, she can one-shot them now. Reynor sees the math and he pulls back, but he's got 12 more Lings on the way. 3rd Adept's gonna try to slow down that gold. There's a Queen waiting for her. Oh, this opener has everything, everything. MaxPax is making a Void Ray. How does he afford that? Well, the gateway and the wall's almost down. That shield battery needs to finish now. Reynor can taste it. If he gets in and has a proxy inside, that's gotta be game. Oh, gateway down to 47 hit points when the battery overcharge kicks in. MaxPax with a big save. And keep in mind, he's got way more workers. Reynor's just been making Lings. So even with the gold base, they're actually pretty close on minerals. And Reynor's not actually getting any gas at all. He's all Lings and Queens, and those Lings aren't done ripping up the front gate. Proxy's done, and Reynor's making a Queen in it. How long does it take a Void Ray to take down a hatch? A long time if he has to chase after the Zerglings in his base. Reynor's got to be losing so many Zerglings, but he doesn't care. Gateway down. The second layer's up, though. If MaxPax doesn't battery overcharge again, he's gonna lose his core. He's got the energy. He needs it. His batteries are all drained. Reynor gets the core! Reynor is giving MaxPax a gasless whooping here. Though he's lost like a million Zerglings doing this. The Queen is out in the main, and Oracle's helping cleaning up the Lings. But Reynor just keeps making them. He's making them 14 at a time right now. MaxPax has a massive tech lead, but the Zerg doesn't care. He gets the Queen, but he's gotta finish off that hatchery. Shield battery number 5 finishes, and MaxPax gets control over his wall. 52 dead Zerglings. That's only like 1,300 minerals though. That is so cheap. The players are still equal on minerals. Probe's having to deal with the Zerglings. They're getting pulled off the mineral line. MaxPax is still on a defensive scramble. I think Reynor's transitioning. He's making drones. Or he's still killing things in the wall. I think MaxPax has spent more in his wall than Reynor has on his Lings. The hatch is armored, so the Void Ray could be using his prismatic alignment. If he does, he'll do more damage, but he'll be too slow to catch Zerglings. I think he should just do it, get it over with. Looks like 8 more Zerglings getting birthed in the main. There, MaxPax gets the hatch. Oh, the Broodlings are gonna get an Adept. The chaos continues, but it looks like MaxPax will eventually stabilize here. Reynor making big rounds of drones to catch up on workers. He's also making spores because he well knows that MaxPax is gonna wind up with 3 Oracles here. Guess where they're going after they finally get the cleanup here. Hint, it rhymes with Zold. I totally miss the intros here. Can we just accept that everybody knows our players are Reynor and MaxPax and that they're both awesome and worthy of cool warhorn sounds? Reynor taking his natural at 6.5 minutes. That is a not so common timing. And MaxPax's original scouting probe is still there to see it. That is hilarious. And here comes that triple Oracle. They say bad things come in 3s. Oh, MaxPax is splitting them up. This is some tricky micro here. Is he gonna try to converge in the gold from 2 sides? This kid does some really impressive stuff. We've seen Showtime do this with a Void Ray. Nope, I'm wrong, it's a single attack. He's gonna trade off his shields and pick up some drones. Just 2. But Reynor's also got probe kills. He's causing chaos over at the Protoss 3rd. MaxPax is trying to get a new base up, but Reynor's saying, I don't have enough dead Zerglings yet. Please, kill some more. My graveyard isn't full yet. MaxPax can't kill him fast enough. He's gonna get the cancel on the Nexus. MaxPax has over 100 kills and he's ahead 2-1 on efficiency. But Reynor doesn't care. He's just making the Protoss' life miserable. He gets the cancel. It looks like one of the most important stats in this game is going to be how many seconds does it take a Void Ray to kill a Zergling? Just too slow to be effective. Reynor is getting gas, by the way. He's just been too effective with Queens and Lings so far to really get anything else. Reynor doubles back and gets a second cancel, and he gets the probe. Because whenever a probe cancels their Nexus, they reflexively make it again in the next 5 seconds. Reynor knows this. I'd like to name it Reynor's rule, but I think we know that's something I totally made up. I'm sure Reynor has a cooler rule than that. Oh, he's going back a third time. This is Reynor's rule, but the Nexus isn't up yet. He was too early. There's the probe now. So Reynor is outmining his opponent at this point. He's almost caught up in drones. He does have a third that's saturated. And of course, he's still got that gold. And he's going to use that econ advantage to get started on his lair. He's really gone 8 minutes without any tech, and he's been so effective. MaxPax is actually getting a battle duck at this point. At some point, your Zerglings have to become obsolete. At least if you don't have the crackling upgrade. MaxPax is going to get Zealot charge and +1 attack, and then in theory his Zealots will just shred Zerglings. I say in theory just because Reynor's somehow running circles around him right now. Reynor's adding gas at his natural, so he will be teching up. MaxPax has a Robo up, and he's getting himself a Warp Prism. Reynor starts his first Evo Chamber at the 9-minute mark. Apparently he's still trying Zergling door challenges. I mean, why not? They've been working so well. Alright, Templar Archive completes. If MaxPax starts putting Archons into the field, life is going to get pretty rough for those Zerglings. Meanwhile, the Queen and Spore count is getting a little too high for the Oracles. Rather than kill drones, they're really reduced to tagging at this point. Which is a shame because Reynor has taken the worker lead. And there's the Zerg mid-tier tech. He's getting a Baneling Nest and a Hydra Den. We saw Reynor do great things with Hydras in Game 1. How are those Oracles still finding space to maneuver? They're like parked on creep. Oh, there we go. Consequences, people. Consequences. I think MaxPax was looking to transition anyway. He's now capable of going Zealot Archon at this point. And that's exactly what he's doing. This is the most normal and regular thing to happen in this game yet. There's an embryonic Protoss death ball headed towards the creep. Zergling Queen cannot stand against this, but that is why Reynor is making Hydras. Oh nice, the one Oracle that MaxPax saved is going to give him detection to get those tumors. Reynor's 8 Queens are going to be able to withstand this long enough for his 11 Hydras to get here. But just getting some offense in will help the Protoss greatly. He even briefly supply blocks Reynor, but now he's got to get out of there. He just doesn't have the army. In the immortal words of Walter White, if we're gonna go that way, you're gonna need a bigger knife. He's adding gateways and immortals to try to do something about that. Warp Prism sneaking into the main. It's got a payload of 2 Zealots. Can Reynor see that? Yes, just barely. Another good play by MaxPax, but once again, I think his knife size is a little bit too small. Warp Prism's gonna escape to try another day. MaxPax's Battle Duck is researching Storm. A perfect reaction to those Hydras. Reynor's getting Hydra speed and +1 ranged attack. MaxPax parking his Oracle on the north side. I think it can be seen there though. Reynor's got a Ling waiting to report if MaxPax tries to expand to his gold. His own gold's just about mined out, so if MaxPax takes his, that could be a factor. Oh, MaxPax is not minding his Oracle. See, this is why we can't have nice things. If you leave them on the creep without any supervision, they're just gonna get broken. Oh, coolness! Oh, the first game I ever cast with Reynor, he did this to Showtime. He gloops his Templar Archives with Contaminate, and then he attacks with his Hydras before the Protoss is ready. It's a tiny thing, the delay's only 21 seconds, but Reynor knows how to make it pivotal. So MaxPax is gonna take his gold, Reynor's gonna see it, and the Zerg responds by taking a base in the top right. Reynor adding in the Baneling speed upgrade. There's his new expansion. Clearly I was wrong, Reynor didn't attack, Storm is about to complete. MaxPax is back on the move with his Warp Prism. Queens are there though. 5 of them though, and that poor tinfoil Warp Prism doesn't stand a chance. I kid you not when I tell you there was a time the Warp Prism had less hit points than it does now. 80 with 100 shields is actually a good thing by historical standards. Oh, Lings on Immortals is usually a terrific matchup, but there are a lot of shield batteries around there. And in case you missed it, Reynor has put down a lurker den. That could be why he hasn't gotten aggressive with his Hydras. He means to go morphin time. Wow, there is not a paint scratch on that Immortal, and he picked up 7 kills. I'd act all tough too if I had 4 shield batteries behind me. Truest thing I ever heard. Nobody ever takes your lunch money when you have a shield battery. MaxPax's Deathball 2.0 is looking better. He's actually got the larger army size. Reynor finishes his hive tech, and the Hydras cluster around the lurker den. It finishes and boom, 11 lurkers go into production. MaxPax wants to hit now. The morphing only takes 18 seconds. Just 4 seconds more than a Baneling. Reynor attacking from 3 different sides, maximizing the surface area. Oh, that was spectacular. Baneling explosions plus storm. I gotta get a freeze frame of that miasmic blob. I bet it'll look fantastic. So the lurkers are here. MaxPax has lost the army advantage. The Zealots broke in through the gold, but they're just getting chased down. Meanwhile, Reynor's gonna finish lurker range, and his lurkers are gonna get that much stronger. Oh, what a way to go. That Zealot does not get to go to Protoss Valhalla if he dies in retreat. Look at that Penn and Teller make these rocks disappear. Don't be impressed, guys. It's all done with mirrors. Oh, and now MaxPax's gold is under threat. He pulls his probes and his mining rate just drops. If the lurkers get into position, they're going to be able to hit that Nexus. And a bunch more preventing MaxPax from getting down this ramp. Oh, he's caught without detection. He's hustling out an observer. Not good for Toss. MaxPax does have a counterattack plan though. Big time Zealot warping. 10 in fact, all in the main. But he has no idea how he's going to stop those lurkers. And as a result, I think he's going to lose his Nexus. Zealots are getting their licks in, but they are not killing drones. They're just trading out for Lings, which Reynor is only too happy to do. Here come the drone hits. MaxPax making me look foolish as he gets to the good stuff. But will he get detection and save his gold? Yes, he will. Observers, you never know how much you need them until you don't have them. Didn't Joni Mitchell write a song about that? Don't it always seem to go? You don't know what you got till it's gone. Oh, if he could actually get that spawning pool, that would be big. He wants to stop that crackling upgrade. But not with just one Zealot left, he won't. Oh, if you look up overkill in the dictionary, I think this is what you find. MaxPax has got to be tempted to hit that again. His main force is pushing in. He wants to do some damage before the lurker count gets reset. Both players mining at similar rates. This is still anybody's game here. The death ball punches in and meets the queen. Storms go down. But the lurker talons are shredding away here. Reynor adding transfuses to counteract the storms. And then he starts leapfrogging his lurkers forward. Archons are built with the shields to resist those spines, but not that many. And Deathball 3.0 turns back. Oh, Lings get the gold Nexus. Oh, just as this game started, Reynor is still getting it done with Zerglings. MaxPax with the immediate rebuild. Watch Reynor circle back again. Do it. It's Reynor's rule, man. He's gonna use the back door that MaxPax had to cut open for him, too. Oh, there is a delicious irony here. Reynor forces the cancel. Will he circle back a third time? MaxPax isn't gonna wait to find out. He's gonna prioritize those Lings. But look at the level of attention damage those Lings have wound up doing. He's got the entire Protoss army operating on some kind of zone defense. And while that's going on, he's just macroing up with his income advantage. That could wind up being a tipping point in this game. MaxPax says maybe, but what if I tip it right back? He's got a two-pronged attack coming up here. Both waves are Zealot Archon. Reynor's gotta split his lurkers perfectly here. Too little on either side and Protoss breaks in. I don't know if he can afford it, but MaxPax might really want the Tempest that he enjoyed in Game 1. Oh, his Zergling counterattack are gonna shut down the Nexus again. I don't think Protoss can afford this. It'll be a sustained reduction in his mineral count. The Zealots chase the Lings off. Reynor got his crackling upgrade to finish though, so these Lings aren't as weak against Zealots as they used to be. They can also really shred a Nexus. Oh, Reynor's bringing his lurkers back up into position. We're getting deja vu here. There's going to be a Warp Prism attack at the same time. The difference is this time MaxPax has detection. The other difference is this time Reynor's maxing out. So with his spine, Zerg is controlling the mineral line. Have the Zealots come back to finish off that spawning pool? No, they're going to settle for an extractor. They are unfortunately not getting micro. MaxPax's attention is managing his main army. Oh, he's going to try to use an Oracle to kill a lurker. I've never seen this. Is there actually enough energy? He had to do a revelation first. He got one! I'm not sure it mattered since the lurker killed all his probes, but that was really cool. I've never seen that before. Just when you think the game has no more firsts, they show you something new. But Zerg is mining at double the rate of Protoss, and it's really starting to show up in the supply differential. MaxPax is going to have to be uber efficient if he wants to get back into this. And it starts with reclaiming his mineral line. Throw down in the top center of the map. Immortal Archon is really good against small numbers of lurkers. The problem is Reynor's working hard to ensure his numbers are anything but small. There's a mad scramble as both players try to find superior position. Reynor's looking to get a surround on the Protoss army. It's largely everything MaxPax has here. I think he's got to get back to his shield batteries. He's going to try to defend the high ground. Reynor's bringing over his queens. MaxPax tries to defend the high ground and it's GG! Oh, that was like a satisfying meal, a brain meal. The first 10 minutes of that game was just wild. Sometimes Zerg gets cool and grabs a gold base right out of the gate. Sometimes Zerg gets even crazier and plants a hatch right in their opponent's base. Only Reynor does both at the same time and somehow gets away with it. And somehow, he further rushes the Protoss wall at the same time, and he can still transition to a standard game from there. He did all that with a crazy amount of leverage from his Zerglings, destroying and delaying key Protoss structures throughout the game. To put it in perspective, 400 Zerglings died in this game and only 12 Hydralisks. Did Reynor get value for the 10,000 minerals worth of Lings? You betcha. Seriously, the opening 10 minutes or so of Game 2 was easily top 10 Game of the Year material. I gotta be careful though, because I feel like I just said that recently. Actually, I know I did. This guy, if you missed it. I got a little Starcraft news. Those of you who remember the Scion Mod games that I cast a while back, remember the ones with the alternate custom races, the Zyed and the Genetron? Well, the mod creator, Solstice, is now getting ready to release the third race, the missing one that's vaguely based off of Protoss. I'm not sure how to pronounce it correctly yet, but if I'm right, it's going to be called the Chiron. It's going to be centralized in production, meaning everything comes out of a single tech structure, oddly like the Zerg hatchery, I suppose. But in order to get a unit out, you have to make a charge for it. And charges are made at other structures depending on what you're trying to make. So the net result should have a familiar yet at the same time quite different feel to it, which could be very cool. I'm not an insider, I'm just reporting the news as it's released to me, but I am excited, so I wanted to mention it here. In the meantime, thank you all for watching and hanging out. I'm really glad you caught this one. Both games in this series are worth recommending to a friend in my book. Have a great weekend, peeps. From my base to yours, Zugzwang out. To continue your StarCraft journey, Nova advises you to click the video in the upper rectangle. But Kerrigan warns you to watch your 6 and click the video in the bottom rectangle. Or you can stimpack your StarCraft experience. Subscribe to Zugzwang StarCraft. Just hit the circle. From my base to yours, Zugzwang out.